room. We're going to kind of go over what's in there. You got to realize 80 to 85% of everything in this home is original because nobody but Keller family members lived here.
Oh, wow, really? After them?
From 1820 to 1952, nobody but Keller family members lived on this property.
Oh, really?
So 1954,
Sure.
Helen was 74.
Okay.
Helen, her family got with the town of Tuscumbia. They formed a privately owned Helen Keller Board to own and operate the 10 acres it was in 1954, and that's what we're on today. That means we're not government, state, city, county funded. Whatever we bring in from the public is what keeps us open. To the public.
You're loving preservation.
Through donations, the Miracle Worker Play, this next year in June, the Miracle Worker Play will be done here on the grounds every Friday and Saturday night in the month of June and July, 8 o'clock at night, over at 10. 65 years we've been doing it live here on the grounds. 65 years. That's pretty amazing.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing as you watch busloads of people from all over the world come here to see that.
I bet.
But Helen was here at age 74 and talked to the crowd the day they opened the doors to the public in 1954.
Really?
The table is not original, but the dishes you see on the table are the original dishes little Helen learned to eat out of in 1887, what she didn't break.
Holy cow.
That's an original Audubon print you see over the fireplace, 1834 date, probably the most valuable thing in the house. Then your silver tea set and coffee pot to the left of the room, in the front left corner there, the coffee pot. They have to be polished. They're pretty old, handed down through the family. The wooden chest that the coffee pot is sitting on has the keyhole in it. You want to guess what you kept locked up in there?
The silverware?
Your sugar.
Oh, your sugars.
Your sugar come in square blocks or cone.
Okay.
Down refined brown sugar. You got it twice a year, so you kept it locked up safely. Oh. Wearing the key around her neck.
Right.
Now your silverware was kept in the old Jackson press in the back right corner.
Okay.
And in silverware in your drinks.
I was just thinking safety.
Well, you got a keyhole to them too.
Yeah.
Sure, that's the worst. Right.
Yeah, there's keyholes for that as well. But these dishes, it's what's left of the dishes after the big food fight. After Daddy had been here about 2 weeks, she pops little Helen's hand one day as Helen was continually eating out of everybody's plate. She said, "Sir, I can't teach this child unless I can discipline her. Captain Keller had yelled at her, 'Young lady, leave the child alone. Give her what she wants. So we can all eat in peace and I can have a decent conversation.'" And she says, "If everybody will leave this room, I will teach this child proper table manners, and I can't do it unless I can discipline her, and none of you are helping her."
Sure.
So for hours it was biting, slapping, kicking, pinching each other. Annie finally comes out of this room after they was totally destroyed because they broke many dishes. She said the child even folded her napkin and put it in her lap.
Woo. Oh, wow.
And she asked
That's
about
amazing.
the cottage next door. Johnny, can you get this gentleman up here and check him in that's just come in, please?
He's taking pictures too.
Yeah.
We're the only one that's not taking
I've had it your way.
Well, you guys can watch this on YouTube.
Not too many, because
And any pictures you need.
Come on back.
We have lots of pictures too.
Suzanne, did you?
Nice fainting couch.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Okay, so the little cottage next door comes back into play at this point. Is Annie convinces Mom and Dad, "I need Helen one-on-one." She said, "Can I take her over there and work with her?" And when Mom and Dad give in to that, Annie says, "Pack her bags, put her in the carriage, and ride her in big circles for a while, because I want Helen to think she's left here." And they actually do.
Oh.
So they ride Helen around on the 200 acres in big circles for a few hours.
Wow.
Pull up, walk Helen in, hand her over to Annie in the cottage. They're sitting right here by the house. They're over there 10 days, day and night, working. Everything being spelt in Helen's hand. At the pump, 1 month, 2 days after Annie arrived here March the 3rd, April the 5th. Water's flowing. Helen writes her memories the cool wet something flows over my hand that day. I have a wet misty memory of Wawa from 19 months old. She said the door's in my brain. This thing in my hand is not a silly game. It's how I'm going to learn what everything is, and I have a way to learn. It explodes. It was 30 words that day, 6 months, she was 650 words, a year and a half after Annie arrived. Now, you're going to see Helen's handwriting as a adult out here on all your pictures, but let's walk into the museum room. I'm going to show you Helen's handwriting at 8 years old, a year and a half after Annie arrived.
Wow.
Let's just get this gentleman.
Holy
Come on in
cow.
here with us. Right here to the right, under glass, you can see Helen's handwriting at 8 years old. Annie had taught her how to spell words, make sentences, use punctuation, a year and a half.
That's better than my penmanship's ever.
Her handwriting is better than many adults today.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yes, she had a writing tool that aided her in writing so pretty and straight. But she can't see a line on the page.
Right.
Now, by 9 years old, they're off to schools in New York and Boston for the death of one.
Okay.
Not much time is spent here anymore. I like to get this bronze statue in here. Not much time is spent here anymore as Helen and Annie are off to the Perkins Institute for Blind 4 years. Helen's there 1 year. She's mastered everything. She starts reading Braille in 6 to 7 other languages. They find out that Helen's IQ is 160.
Wow.
And then Helen had learned how to speak through the vibration technique. Now, it involves your hand, thumbs, lips, nostrils, muscles. Hold the teacher's tongue in her own tongue. There is a short YouTube clip of Helen and Annie out there, and you can watch that. And this is what she's doing on President Eisenhower's faces. Helen would meet famous people throughout her lifetime.
Oh,
she could do lip reading.
yeah.
So this, if you see pictures of Helen doing this,
Yeah.
that's what she's doing.
Yeah, that's all
She
legitimate.
always has either Annie Sullivan or her secretary, Polly, usually signing into her hand. So that's
Wow.
how Helen kind of communicates with other people. Very outgoing. Now, as Helen and Annie finished at the Perkins Institute for Blind, there was more schools in New York and Boston for the deaf and blind. Cambridge was a girls' school that prepares Helen for college. Helen was your first deaf blind to graduate from a college. She graduates cum laude with honors at 24 years old and got her degree in literature and English and wrote her first book, Story of My Life, at 22. Let's step back out here in the hall because I want to show you her picture from Radcliffe.
Sure. I think I'm gonna have to get a bottle of water.
They stayed for 30 years and they built on, they tripled the size of the house in 1925.
This is Helen when she graduates Radcliffe College.
Wow.
At 24, she graduates cum laude with honors, had got her degree in literature and English, and wrote her first book at 22. The first year Helen's at Radcliffe,
Gorgeous.
by 1901, she had proven herself as they thought Annie had been the smart one giving her all the answers. They brought in other teachers to test Helen. Well, Helen proved that her IQ was 160 as they wrote. Miss Helen Keller, their student who is totally deaf and blind, has actually done something no other female in their college had ever done. She's went from English 12 to 22 in 1 year, and yes, her IQ is 160. And then 1 year later, Helen wrote her first book. Cum laude with honors at 24. Then she goes off to work for the American Foundation for the Blind. Now, her first book she wrote was Story of My Life at 22. They took Helen's book and made the Miracle Worker movie from Helen's book.
Right.
We have both of them in the gift shop, the Miracle Worker movie, the black and white, and her original book that she wrote at 24. Out of the 12 books that Helen wrote, Story of My Life, her first book is the only one that's still in publication today. If you find Helen's other books that she written back in her day, they'll be used. You know, they won't be new books. They're not in publication.
Yeah, but that makes it more valuable because that's the original series.
And we have a lot of them under glass in there now.
Right.
As Helen and Annie go off to work for the American Foundation for Blind, this is Miss Helen. She was around 30 or 31 when she went off to work and had become a counselor and an ambassador for the American Foundation for Blind. Her teacher, Annie, still faithfully with her. The secretary, Polly Thompson. Helen was paying both of these ladies to travel with her. They lived in homes in New York, Connecticut, Eastern Connecticut. Other family was living here then. Aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, that kind of thing.
Sure.
Helen's baby sister becomes a school teacher in Montgomery, Alabama, Mildred. Her baby brother, Phillips Brooks Keller, Dallas, Texas, huge engineer, building bridges, raised his family out in Dallas, Texas. Now, Annie gives up a husband to travel the world with Helen. John Macy had been a Harvard man hired to help edit and publish Helen's books. Them all kind of working together. Ended up Annie and John Macy marry about a year after Helen graduated from college. All lives together for about 9 years. Helen and Annie actually perform at vaudeville to have extra money to eat on and live on.
Wow.
His mom was left here getting younger children educated. A lot of people don't realize that Helen actually becomes the breadwinner for
Sure,
her
come on.
and Annie. So Annie had been honored by Harvard University with an honorary degree, realizing what she went through to get Helen through college. And Annie had been faithfully at Helen's side 50 years when she dies. October of 1936, Miss Annie Sullivan was totally blind from trachoma when she passed away.
Wow.
Helen had been to the National Cathedral in Washington, and she asked them, I need something special done for my teacher. Can she be the first female ashes to ever be placed here? So she was in October of 1936. That left Helen and Polly Thompson still working and traveling for the American Foundation for the Blind.
Sure.
And Helen kind of throws herself into her work as losing Annie was hard on her teacher.
Right.
They were still traveling, living in the last home in Easton, Connecticut. Polly was 75, Helen 80 in March of 1960, and been working up until that time. And March of 1960 is when her secretary, Miss Polly Thompson, at 75, had had a stroke. Helen goes back to the National Cathedral, and she says to them, I can't imagine my life without these two ladies. I've spent my entire adult life with them, and I can't imagine not being with them in death. Can all three of us, our ashes, be entombed side by side here in the National Cathedral? So when she loses Polly, Polly was the next to join Annie in the National Cathedral, the St. Joseph Chapel in the basement there.
Wow.
And Helen has her first trained seeing eye dog at age 80. Helen has
Really?
a trained seeing eye dog, her German Shepherd, living with her, a private nurse in her last home in Easton, Connecticut. She lives 8 more years with the American Foundation for the Blind, paying her up to the day she died. She died in her sleep peacefully one night, June 1st, 1968, 26 days short of being 88 years old. Of course, Helen's ashes were entombed next to the two ladies, and Helen's funeral service also was held in the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C.
Amazing. Holy cow.
Here in the parlor, you're going to see Helen at 7 years old to the left on the round table. Her 3-time grandparents, Alexander and Anna Spotswood from Virginia, over the sofa.
Okay.
Yes, Alexander Spotswood was a colonial governor in Virginia, so that's history. Her dad's writing desk for his newspaper and law office is in the back left corner. To the right side of the fireplace, the needlework you're going to see is a shield to protect your face. Makeup and men's mustaches had a lot of beeswax in it, so that's how you kept it in place. You've heard the saying,
Yeah.
mind your own beeswax,
Yep.
save face.
Yep.
It comes from your plantation days. The big painting of Miss Helen there on the right wall, she's 15. A young painter had traveled through and painted that portrait of Helen. It's not the best likeness, though, of Miss Helen. But that's how he repaid the family to feed and board him. The Jenny Lynn Pump organ to the right
Sure.
corner over here is a donated piece, 1871. Beautifully placed, beautifully dated. As a man out of Florence, Alabama, refurbished it and donated it to the museum.
Wow.
The headdress in the round shadow box above the pump organ is well over 170 plus years old. Made by one of the ladies in the home for a wedding as a headdress. It's woolen threads weaved around tiny pieces of wire.
Wow.
This was called a boot closet. Back in the day, they stored many boots and shoes in there so they could be.
Oh, okay. I didn't even see that little door.
Let me close it so you. It has a keyhole in it like everything else.
Yeah.